with me, obviously, the one of the newest members of the College Football Hall of Fame, Ron Dayne, and then his former coach, current athletic director, Barry Alvarez, and we will open it up for questions for either Ron or Coach Alvarez.
Ron, most of us, I think, expected that you would get it in this year, and I'm just curious, did you think about it? Do you have any expectations, and what was your reaction when you found out?
Well, I didn't really think about it too much. I was excited about making a Rose Bowl Hall of Fame, so that was the biggest thing for me. And it was just crazy that, I was getting calls a couple days before, I guess because I was on the ballot, and people were like, oh, congratulations, congratulations. And I'm like, for what? And I finally came, I got the football a day before, but I found it this morning, which, I was supposed to know a day before. And I was just so excited. I didn't even know what to do. I called my daughter first because she said, congratulations, Dad, on making the Hall of Fame. And she had texted me this morning. And I was just like, okay, thanks. And then I told her I made it. I sent her a picture of the football. And she just said, she sent the text back, said, WHOOOOOOOO, so we were excited.
Barry, you've had this honor of going into the Hall of Fame. What does it mean for you to see one of your players, one that you worked obviously so close with?
Well, I'm very proud, naturally, of Ron's accomplishments, and I happen to be on that selection committee, and saw all the people. If you see the other nominees, you realize there were four other, or at least three other Heisman Trophy winners on that ballot, and I know at one point we took a break, and a couple of us were standing around the water fountain. I said, every guy that comes up, our first comment is redundant. Everyone says, well, he was a hell of a player. Well, they were all great players. All of them had to be first-team All-Americans, or they wouldn't have been nominated. But no one's more deserving than Ron. I said that in that meeting, to have rushed for more yards than anyone in the history of college football. And really, if he's minus 800 yards that they didn't count for bowl games. But he's very deserving, and it's an honor for us, or for me, to have coached him, and I'm thrilled for him.
Ron, what's it like to have your name on the list in that company with all the other players that are in the Hall of Fame now?
I don't know. I just can't stop smiling. I'm just excited and I'm happy, especially for me and my teammates. We worked on it. We worked on it as a team. And all the stuff that I'm getting and the stuff that I had got, it was from teamwork. And, and it's just great to be able to come back and you're still getting awards. That's one of the things that my cousin had called me this morning. Was like, man, you still getting awards and you ain't even playing football, So I'm like, it's just great. I just can't stop smiling.
Barry, what are those Hall of Fame discussions like? Are they pretty lengthy? Do they get heated at all, or back and forth?
No, it's not heated, because there's no one really politicking for anyone. We have a manual about that thick with information, stats on every person, and, we go through one at a time. Gene Corrigan is the chair, and whenever that person comes up, he'll read some of the statistics, and then if anyone's familiar with them, whether they coached him or in the same league, played against him, the panel consisted of some players, or former players, administrators, some coaches, and so people would just talk about that particular person. Everyone takes notes, and then we go back through and take a ballot, and then go back through, and Ron, by the way, was a unanimous choice. And you go back through and you keep weeding it out, but it's not heated at all. It's very professional, and a very congenial group that all love college football.
Jesse?
You mentioned all the awards that you've won and mentioned the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame. Where does this honor rank to you out of all those that you've won?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I just got this one, so I kind of got to let it soak in and see what people talk about when they come up to me.
You know, and I think it's hard for it to sink in exactly what Ron has just achieved, what he's been named to. I don't think it really sinks in until you show up in New York in December and see the magnitude of the celebration of the induction, and you see the other people who are inducted with you and their credentials, and then the former players. Then I think it sinks in of how big a deal this is. And I heard today, I hate to say this, I hate to throw these numbers out, you guys can maybe help me. 5 million, over 5 million people have played college football, and there's like a less than 1% have gone into the Hall of Fame. 102? 0.02% of all the people that have played college football are actually in the Hall of Fame. So that gives you some magnitude of this honor.
Barry, was there any doubt in your mind that Ron was going to get in and kind of, in addition to that, you know, the game goes in cycles. Right now, the spread is the offense, it appears. But if he were a high school senior today, would he be as successful and as valuable, you know, over the next 4 years as he was when he first came here?
Yeah, Ron would be smart enough to go someplace where they'd give him the ball, and not where they're throwing it every snap. You know, there's still some schools that do that, and we're one of them. You know, I think, you know, you look at a lot of the spread teams, and don't be misled by them. Many of them line up in the spread to run the ball. If you're going to defend all the receivers and not leave many in the box, they're going to hand that ball off. And some of your better rushers come from spread teams. But Ron would be just as valuable today coming out and be just as effective today. Well, you know, as I said, Jeff, there are a number of Heisman Trophy winners. One Heisman Trophy winner wasn't elected. So, you know, I had a very good feeling that he would get in. I thought the person that pleaded his case did a good job. So, but you still don't know till the ballots come in.
Tom.
Ron, I know you get this a lot, but nobody's come close to challenging your Russian record since you've retired. Do you think anybody ever will?
I'm not sure. Maybe if they get a coach like Coach Alvey, you know, that's going to let you run the ball and carry it as much as you want and as much as you can handle, you know. But just like Coach said, a lot of teams are still running the ball. And, you know, hopefully a guy has the opportunity, now that they count the bowl games, for the guys to get close to it and be able to, you know, I can go then pass the ball off or something.
Same question for both of you. Coach, we can look at the numbers and see where Ron ranks in a certain thing and the awards that he's won to put him in an elite level. But for you, where is Ron's place in college football, his legacy, I guess, if you will, as he leaves the game?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. There are a lot, as we said, there are a lot of guys that played this game, and no one did what he did. And, you know, he was durable. You know, I told the story in the meeting that there was a stretch when he was a true freshman, an 18-year-old freshman, where he carried the ball, I think it was 49 times, 51 times, 47 times. You know, we played Minnesota when he was a freshman. He carried the first 17 plays of the game. You know, and you could, one of the other members, Roy, help me, the old commissioner of the Southeast Conference, Roy Kramer said, "What do you average? 1.9 a carry?" You know, with all those carries, but he was durable. So it's not just about yardage; it's about consistency over a 4-year period and staying healthy. And you know, so I think he goes down as one of the greats that ever played college football to this date.
Ron, what do you hope your legacy is, or if you could write it, 10, 20 years from now, somebody writes what your career was and what it meant to college football, what do you hope it is?
Just like I said, like Coach said, like I just wanted to be a great running back, and everybody had me down as a fullback, and now I can say I'm one of the great running backs. Coach took the fullback out of my repertoire. He helped me out of that. So I don't have to say I'm one of the top fullbacks. I can say I'm one of the top running backs, in the league, and that was because of Coach.
Ron, what do you miss the most about football?
Being around the guys, really just being around the guys, and just doing everything together, going through the pain, the sweat, everything together. I just really just the camaraderie of the sport.
I think that's one of the things Ron always, the first thing he always did was praise his linemen, praise his teammates, and it was never about him. You guys covered him. You guys were all here when he played, and it was never about him. It was about winning the game and the guys around him, his teammates.
Ron, where do you think your career would be as a football player without Coach Alvarez? And have you ever thought about how things would have turned out if you went somewhere
I don't
else?
like to think about that. Coach really helped me. I mean, it's like a blessing, like a father to me, and he still is, and he's been like that since day one. And I don't even think about that. That's not even something I really think about. And I'm just happy that Coach was, he took a chance and grabbed me and treated me like a son from day one.
Ron, is it hard to find a replacement for the competition when that becomes such a big part of your life? And is your life pretty fulfilled right now?
Well, yeah, definitely. I like running around and seeing my kids now, and it's crazy because they're in all kind of sports. And my daughter's a freshman, and she's on varsity team. And my oldest son is in 7th grade, and he's playing baseball, football, basketball, everything. And then my youngest boy he does everything too. He's running around and playing soccer, basketball, baseball, flag football. So it's kind of fun when I get to see them and kind of compete with them. I told them I'm gonna beat them till they 18, so I kind of gotta stay in some kind of shape and do some kind of running around and shooting. And I gotta tease Jada. I gotta kind of fake Jada out now because I think she's almost right there as fast as me. So I told her when she could beat me in the 40. Then she'll get a car, so she's almost there. So she's working on it.
Yeah. Ron, can you go back and so you got a football? Can you just explain about getting that football, and that was the first time you knew that you had made it?
Yeah, well, this morning I got a text from Mike Unitan, and he texted me and he was like, "Did you get a package?" And I was just like, "Nah," and I didn't get back to him, And then this morning I got up and saw it again, and I was just like, "Nah, I didn't get a package, Mike." I texted him back, and he was just like, "Are you sure? You need to go check or call somebody, go check." And I'm like, so my girl went downstairs, and she was like, "Yeah, this message, this box came last night, and I just threw it to the side, and then like 15 minutes after I opened it, like 10 minutes later, Coach Alvey called me, and I'm like, I'm already in shock. I didn't send pictures to my mom, and I'm like, this is just 10 minutes, later that Coach had called me, like, "Oh, that you made?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just found out like 10 minutes ago, And the ball said Ron Dayne, it had Ron Dayne on it. Well, I got a picture of my phone, that I'm keeping. It's like my front of my phone now. So, but it's at Ron Dayne, 2013, coming to the Hall of Fame, and I was just super excited. It could have been red. It was in blue, since we were in Wisconsin. So.
Barry, you talked about Ron's impact on college football overall, but how about on the Wisconsin program now that you've had some perspective? How would you measure that?
Yeah, I think anyone today that follows college football, when you mention Wisconsin, I think they picture Ron carrying the ball and us running the ball. I think that describes the brand of football that we established here And that's how everybody pictures it. Much like if you say Ohio State, you think of Woody Hayes and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, which hasn't existed for many, many years. But I think that's how people envision Wisconsin football, is Ron Dayne carrying the ball.
Any other questions?
Ron, have you decided who your presenter will be, or when does that decision get made?
I'm not sure. But, you know, anytime, I don't think it's a presenter, you know, I'm not sure. Because they said you didn't have to talk or anything. I think it's one of the guys out of the group gets up and talks for the whole group. So. But I would have picked Coach, though. You know, I would have picked Coach Alley.
Any thoughts, Ron, about the rest of your class that you're going in with, any of those guys?
Not really. You know, I know a couple of the guys where, you know, I still talk to them when I go back to the Heisman, so it's kind of neat. That'll be kind of neat seeing them. Well, I see them almost every year anyway, so, you know, we see each other at different events and things like that. So I didn't know a lot of the other guys, but I knew the 2 Heisman guys that were there, so.
Ron, do you think Monty will eventually get into the College Football Hall of Fame some years out?
Maybe if he can keep the, you know, if the touchdown record stands up for a while, yeah, without a doubt, I think he'll be able to get in there.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, guys.